When we decided that we wanted to take Azaya up to Alaska after we bought her, we realized that it meant one of two things. We would either sail around the tip of South America, which isn't likely considering our dogs and kiddo, or we would transit the Panama Canal. Option number 2, the canal, was the right choice. Something that we didn't realize that we could be transiting at night. In speaking with our advisor, he explained that it is not common practice but does happen due to sailboat and personal pleasure craft not being the priority traffic for the canal, i.e. $2,000 versus $1 million that the canal can earn from a single transit of the larger freighters delivering anything from liquefied natural gas to cars or containers. So we went through when there was space for a relatively small sailboat to squeeze in amongst the giant ships.
Going through the locks at night was a great experience. Even though it was our first time, the line handlers, the advisor, had everybody doing the jobs that they needed to do, and everybody did it well. Lucas was trying to captain the boat as he usually does, but my mom did a great job keeping him at bay. Eric, Sharon, everybody did a great job, so it took a lot of the tension and anxiety off of it. All in all, I wouldn't have traded it for anything, and I would say to anybody who might be transiting in the future through night, don't be afraid, just embrace it, have a good time.
You don't need a boat hook, you just jump on it.
So the idea for the Panama Canal actually originated from the Spaniards back in the 16th century when they landed there. But given the limitations of tools and labor, they didn't proceed. Though the French did in 1880, and they gave it a pretty good try, but financial problems and tropical diseases plagued them. So they retreated. And in 1903, Panama consolidated its independence and made an agreement with the United States on the construction of the canal. Today, Panama assumes full operation of the canal based on the 1977 treaty, but they didn't take full operation until December 31st, 1999. So in this shot, this is us coming up to the boat that we're going to be canoeing up to or rafting up to. The Emil Maramu, And the captain did an excellent job of keeping a nice constant speed so that I could do the same and just come up to him. There was no bumping or rubbing or anything like that. So I think my goal was to not scratch up his boat and not scratch up ours. Hopefully they appreciated it. You had to keep a pretty constant pace with the line handlers that were on the wall. They didn't want to go over about 2.5 knots. You start going over that, then they have to run. It's really hot. They don't want to do that. So you stick it at 2.5 knots or a little bit less, and everybody's happy. I had to be reminded of that going through the first set of locks in Gatun because I got going a little bit too fast, trying to pay attention to other things, and they certainly let me know. The advisors are generally good at making sure that they're paying attention to all the things that you may not be, and they talk through a nice calm thing.
Okay, so being a line handler for the Canal Transit was an amazing experience, and I was extremely thankful that we had Jose and Mario, our two professional line handlers, go with us. They have gone through multiple times. Mario's a captain on another vessel, so he knows a lot about boating, ropes, and lines if you want to actually speak in sailor talk. First thing first, when we entered the chambers or the lock areas, Riley would captain us to the starboard side or the port side, and we would wait there for the canal side line handlers to throw us a monkey's fist. A monkey's fist is a ball, essentially, a weighted ball connected to a line, as you can see here, and we would catch those and then tie a 100-foot heavy-duty mooring line to that monkey's fist, and we would hold on the boat side and then on to the canal side until the advisor yelled slack, and only when he yelled slack could we let go of that line and wait for the canal side to hook our line on a cleat. When the line was hooked onto the cleat, we would haul in as quickly as we could, with the goal being to remain in the center of the chamber, and so we would do this on both sides. Right now we're tied up to another boat, so you can't see the port side line handler hauling in the line, but they're doing it at the same time. Once we were cleated off, then the water would start flowing out of the chamber, and when we were coming up, flowing in. And during this time, we had to release line or haul in line in order to stay in the middle of the chamber. While the canal handlers went up and down the stairs as we were going in and out of locks, we shook the lines to keep them from getting caught up on any rough edges on the sides of the canal.
It took us approximately 24 hours to get through the canal from start to finish. At the end, we said goodbye to Hector, our second advisor, who helped us get through the second set of locks, the lake, and navigate some of the more difficult parts of the terrain. And just like that, we were on our own again. So we found a place to set our anchor just on the Pacific side and enjoyed some celebratory rum and an amazing skyline. A few things that we've never done before that happened on this trip. We touched Pacific waters, the first time for our boat, Isaiah. We rafted up to another boat while in motion, probably quite easy for some, but our first time nonetheless. We motored across fresh water through the crocodiles and all. We had 8 people on board. We slept 8 people on board. Wouldn't recommend that to anybody. We went through locks, we went through the Panama Canal, and now it's time to go explore our more familiar waters on the Pacific. And of course, Sharon's going to try and catch some fish.
잘 먹고 있어요.
Thank you.